For me, I immediately gravitated toward a story of a young protagonist who's an oddball in his world. There's a great wish fulfillment in the idea that you could go from a nobody to somebody of great consequence, paired with this amazing creature that is not only your best friend and your protector, but something that needs you as well. I just love those sorts of stories where there is a coming together of these two very disparate, a boy and a beast, that for a while have such a deep and meaningful impact on one another's lives that even though they may go their separate ways at the end of this story, they are forever changed. I would say live action is full of surprises, whereas animation, everything is you're planning it and you're executing it in kind of a glacial pace over the course of many years. But very, very infrequently do you get a chance to improvise and to have spontaneity in the room, except for when you're with actors. Mm-hmm. That's true of animation, but when you're in live action, it's all about that. It's about the happy surprises that are just present every day, because you have actors that are coming to you with ideas. It changes the way the scene plays out physically. It changes the spaces between dialogue and how moments are processed and whether dialogue is even necessary. The whole thing becomes a conversation, and it's flowing, and it's really fascinating and interesting. I loved being part of it because you have a sense of time is wasting, and you have to get a certain number of shots done a day, but otherwise the set just won't be there, But at the same time, there's magic happening around you, and someone might have a really great idea about what to do with a camera, and then the actors might have a really great idea about how to play something differently than the way it was scripted, and your job as director is just sort of to be responsive, to take it all in, but also have a sense of what the story's about and what's important, and keep driving it forward. He completely got the character because he grew up with How to Train Your Dragon. He's got a lot of physical attributes that the Jay Baruchel Hiccup would not have had, but I think he still managed to communicate sort of a sense of insecurity, a sense of yearning for acceptance, and also the humor that comes along with that. He's such an obvious choice for somebody who needs to be big and brash and commanding. He does that with ease and a sense of sort of larger than life caricature. But it's those tender moments that are really disarming and surprising, where I feel like he brings himself to a point of tears and vulnerability that is so convincing, I think, for parents in the audience and also kids. But I think that he was able to find a place where he could really pull out an honest, tender, heartbreaking rendition of a father who's struggling to understand his son, who has the best of intention for him, but just doesn't see the kid who's in front of him as somebody he can relate to. So we reimagined Toothless as kind of a ghost in the Viking world. No one had ever seen one. You hear it coming. It has a very distinctive sound. It has a very distinctive attack. And the destruction is always devastating. But the only real glimpse that you get of the dragon is how it blots out stars when it flies across the night sky. We wanted to kind of create this sense of anticipation for what this creature would look like. And then when Hiccup comes across him in the woods, the idea was that he would come across a dragon that's impressive, it's black, it's shiny, it's scaly, it looks really powerful, and yet it's, instead of the other dragons, which are very much based on reptiles, we wanted to go with the idea that this was more mammalian. It was based on a black panther, and so it had an elegance to it. So all of those considerations went into it. We wanted it to seem powerful and elegant and different from the other dragons in terms of its design. And also, we wanted people to see their pets in Toothless. We wanted all the cues to be there. We wanted people to be able to look at the live-action version of Toothless and say, that's him, but he's real.
Every culture around the world has dragon stories they tell. So the animated movie tells the story about one group of Vikings trying to root out one nest near them. What we've expanded it to say is this island of Berk is near a dragon's nest. And the Vikings traveled all over the world to find brave warriors from everywhere and bring them back to Berk because they know it's near a nest. And if they can find a nest and stop and figure out the mystery of these dragons, maybe they can save the world. And that global approach speaks to Viking culture. Toothless is the most exciting pet you can have, and also the world's fastest motorcycle. It's a really special creature and a really special relationship that forms. And you don't ride a motorcycle, you drive a motorcycle. And we thought a lot about, but a motorcycle's not alive. So we really don't think that you just sit on the back of these beasts and go. We think of Hiccup and Toothless as co-pilots. So we want to put the audience experientially in Hiccup's seat as he pilots or co-pilots Toothless. And we're pushing ourselves to do flying in a way that hasn't really been seen before. This is a big, immersive movie. You will sit on the back of a dragon and fly through the canyons. We've visited some of the most iconic places on Earth. You know, you watch those David Attenborough documentaries. We went there. We went to the Faroe Islands. I went to a town of 14 people. We went through great glaciers in Iceland, volcanoes, basaltic cliffs, and then we put our dragons in those environments and fly through them in incredibly immersive ways. If you felt like you wanted to know more about the island of Berk, you wanted to reach out and touch the walls and the carvings and the Book of Dragons, it's all here for you.